In this video, we're going to show you the 4 best microphones for podcasting with the Rode Rodecaster Pro. If you're looking for a more in-depth video, we have one linked up in the corner here, and you can check that out, and it really goes into all the specs and criteria of what makes a good podcast microphone. But in this video, we're going to be talking about real-world usage, just quick snippets as you hear me demo each one of these microphones. If you are looking for pricing or specs, we have some links down in the description below where you can find current pricing on everything that you see in this video from a variety of online retailers. Next, for the purpose of this video, we did factory reset the audio mixer here, except we turned off all the audio processing, but we left the compressor on. As I go through the menu here, you can see all the tone is left on medium, the strength is left on medium, so that leaves us with the level screen. Throughout this video, we're going to show you the level of each microphone as I'm speaking, so you have a more accurate representation of what you can expect. I'll try to use a similar mic positioning within about a fist of the microphone for each one of these microphones so you can consistently hear the difference between these. One last note about level for the Rode Rodecaster Pro. If you ever find yourself using more than 40 on the level here, then we do recommend using an inline preamp. For me, in this video, I can use all these microphones with level 40 or less, and I don't get a lot of that preamp hiss or anything by keeping the level under 40 there. But if you do find that you're turning it up to 40, 45, 50, something like that, then I recommend getting an inline preamp. We have tons of links down in the description below for the Cloudlifter and other inline preamps, but we won't be using them in this video. Okay, first of all, we have the Rode PodMic. For me, it's a really gray area as to whether or not this microphone belongs on this list, but we felt it was really important to include this microphone in this video because of how much Rode markets it as being the perfect companion for the Rode Rodecaster Pro. It has a nice, affordable entry-level price. It looks good. It looks like it belongs in a podcast studio, but I do have some pet peeves on it. The first pet peeve is that it is quite exposed on the lower frequencies. There's no real authority with the lower frequencies. It has a built-in high-pass filter, which basically means on this microphone that at 300 Hertz, it starts rolling off on the low end. This does make it sound nice and clean and bright and friendly and all that, but it really lacks that low-end oomph, I would say. It sounds kind of thin compared to other podcasting microphones. You will hear that. Another real big pet peeve about this microphone is the transfer of sound. There's not a whole lot of great internal shock mounting. Little taps come straight through the microphone, and they can actually ruin your podcast recording. Keep in mind, when you're recording a podcast, you're working with real people, probably sitting at a table, fidgeting and bumping and that type of thing. And this microphone, for me and my recording, transfers too much of that energy into the recording of the audio. Next, we have the Shure MV7, which requires 1 point less level than the Rode PodMic, which is nice to give you more headroom if you are more soft-spoken. This microphone is really, really cool. Not only is it great to get 4 of these for a group podcast in person, but each person can take this microphone home and use the USB output of this microphone for a solo podcast or voiceover work or whatever they want to do if they're into live streaming. So this microphone, amongst sounding better than the Rode PodMic, in my opinion, it offers a ton of flexibility with that hybrid approach to giving it an XLR output for podcasting with the audio mixer and the USB output. So if you don't have the group setting and you don't need the audio mixer, you can still just connect this to your computer. There is another variation of this microphone that's XLR only. If you don't need that USB functionality, you can save some money. Other than that, it has very similar ergonomics to the Rode PodMic. It looks the same, it functions the same, but it sounds better. It's all black, it's cleaner, it has a better pop filter on it. For my money, I think this is a much better buy than the Rode PodMic, but at the end of the day, it does come down to your budget. Next, we have the Shure SM7B. You can see here that I'm getting a pretty good level on the meter with the level set to 40. This is really good news. If you find for your voice that you're up close to 45 or 50, I really recommend that you get an inline preamp. We have a bunch of samples down in the description below if you are looking for options there. But when we're talking about the microphone here, you can tell ergonomically it looks better than the other microphones we have so far. There's no cable sticking out of the back. There's a nice clean cable management solution that you can work with here. There's some switches on the back to help you tone the sound how you want them. For the most part, I leave them flat, but you do have some options there to work with. For me, this microphone, out of all the ones so far, it sounds the most full and complete. You really notice as we're going through this video that the sound keeps bumping up and getting more and more full. One criticism on the Shure SM7B is that it can sound a little bit dark. It can sound a little bit woolly, like you have a big wool sock on it. That is one criticism. The flip side of that coin is that the frequency response of this microphone does wonders for removing a lot of background noise in your recording. We have airplanes and traffic and all this stuff here. The Shure SM7B, out of all the microphones we have in the studio, does do the best job of rejecting those frequencies that are bouncing around in our environment. It is the most reliable on the most amount of days, no matter what's going on. And I think that's what makes it so popular for podcasting, because it really does kind of clean up your recording for you. Aside from that, the Shure SM7B has a lot of internal shock mounting and electromagnetic rejection. So things like audio equipment and power and all that will interfere less with this microphone. Not that it's a huge issue with all the microphones we have here, but it does have a really consistent reputation for being reliable and not allowing any buzz into the recording. Next, we have my favorite microphone, the Electro-Voice RE20. For my money, this is the top tier end game microphone that everybody should be looking for. This is more popular in things like radio stations than the Shure SM7B. The Shure SM7B is more popular for podcasting. I do believe that the RE20 is making more of a comeback now for one simple reason. It used to be ugly gray, and now they make a blackout version, and I think it's a lot more camera friendly. In terms of audio, it has all the benefits of the Shure SM7B, the full frequency response, the good noise rejection. It sounds like a big broadcast dynamic AM radio. It sounds strong. It builds trust, all those things. The RE20 sounds a little bit more clear than the Shure SM7B. It also has what they call variable D technology. That's this venting down the side. It makes it so when you get really close to the microphone, it might get louder as you get close, but it doesn't get really boomy or poppy. That's what the venting there does, the variable D technology. It really helps to keep you consistent as you move around the microphone. The frequency response of this microphone does not change nearly as much as other microphones. So that's another really big thing that helps a lot of people get really comfortable. If you're new to podcasting, you'll know how big of a deal that is. New podcasters can be really self-conscious and they get close and then they don't like how it sounds and they back up and then it's too quiet. Where this one, you can navigate the microphone a lot more and it's super comfortable when you're recording a podcast with this microphone. So let's recap all the options here. First, we have the Rode PodMic. It is inexpensive, but it does sound a little bit thin to me, and it does expose a lot of those pops and taps as you're recording a podcast. Next, we have the Shure MV7. It requires a little bit less gain. It does sound warmer and more full in my mind. It does also do a better job of rejecting those bumps on the table, and it has that hybrid microphone technology where you can plug it into an audio mixer with the XLR cable, or you can use a USB cable when you're in a different environment using this microphone for a different purpose. Then we have the Shure SM7B, which is quite a bit more expensive, but it does sound a whole lot more full. It has better noise rejection inside of it, and this is probably the most popular end-game podcast microphone in the world. Last but not least, we have the EV RE20, which has all the benefits of the Shure SM7B in my mind, but it has more clarity, and that variable D technology allows you to move around the microphone a little bit better while remaining more consistent and keeping your confidence up a little bit more as you are recording. Again, if you are looking for pricing or specs for any of these microphones or equipment that you see here, we have links down in the description below. If you have any questions about anything or comments, leave a comment down below. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.